One of my other great lines I use all the time just before booking the appointment is, listen, just like a mechanic needs to see the car and the doctor needs to see the patient, the real estate agent needs to see the house. And then I combine that with the next blow saying, listen, at the end of the day, if I was able to come to your house and quote you like 100 or 150K more, wouldn't that money make some sort of difference in your family's lifestyle? Yeah. Just knowing that you have that extra bankroll, I know it would for me. Perfect. So when are you available? Before I go through some of my calls and stuff like that, is there any certain objections that you guys are facing, or anything at all that has been really tough for you guys? Remember, this is a safe space. We're all here. We all want to make sure you guys are all making money.
Hey, Nick. This is Richard.
Hey, Richard.
So there's a few things have been popping up. A bunch of the leads coming through. I'd say maybe out of the past 21, I have leads in the list that have not responded. I've tried calling and so forth. They don't answer.
For sure.
I'm noticing a bunch have little warning marks on the text that apparently those numbers are not being recognized by our text going out.
Okay.
I saw that happen a month ago, back in the beginning, and I think it was like AT&T lines were not getting our text to go through.
Okay.
Have you come across that kind of problem? Is that something that might hinder?
I would probably talk to Karen or someone here to make sure something in the back end is all good, because I haven't had errors like that.
All right. But overall, there's a long list of about 21 that have not been answering, and they're complicated. People don't want to put in all their data. They put in the wrong numbers intentionally. Of
course. So let me ask you a question. So, this is the best way, and what has really helped me fully develop and really work online leads regardless, is that we have to put ourselves in the mindset of the buyer or seller, right? So in this case, seller. If you are scrolling through social media and you see an ad, right? There's going to be, if the people that are clicking it are the people that are thinking about it. Because if I wasn't thinking about doing anything, I would just scroll through. But if they're curious, there is something in their pipeline that's going to happen, whether it's now, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years from now. So if they're clicking on your link, they're also probably thinking that it's an automated message or an automated number that comes out. That's what they're thinking. So how do you combat that? If I was a person that was scrolling onto my phone and wanted to just get a number and I was like, oh shoot, it's not the number, it's someone calling me now. What would you find of value? Before I give you guys the answers, what would you find of value? So you know that you have someone that is clicking your link, that is interested, but is not responding. So if you were that person, what would bring something of value to you? What do you open for discussion, everybody?
Is this in the buyer's perspective? This is the
seller.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so as far as the seller, what do I find as value is there's a human being that's active and willing to participate with me, essentially right there in the moment. Right. Versus something where, like you said, you're just getting some sort of populated valuation model and, okay, in and around, this is what my property's worth. I'll go to Zillow and see what they have to say. Now you're getting something in the form of a boiled down, let's say, valuation as far as, within that $20,000, $25,000 window.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. So basically you're saying that essentially someone who is live able to take the call and talk to me when my motivation is high. What is something else? Sold prices on the street or something nearby that did very, very well, right? What else?
Current things that are active for sale.
Yeah. And market stats, right? So if market stats not doing well, then we have to rely on a really good sold price in and around the area. And asking, hey, is this what your house is, is this similar to your house in terms of finishings? Because remember, if I was a seller and I see something that sold for $1 million, right? Let's just say in this case, $1 million is a lot of money for this type of product, okay? That is going to motivate me to let you know. Or did you see this listing? Did you see, sending a message, hey, did you see this listing? Did you see this sale that just happened? You don't give the address. You just give, that's thing. Because remember, what we need to give them something that is either curiosity or something of high motivation in order to get a response, right? Because that is what's going to trigger me to talk to you. And then depending on what you say next will let me assess if I want to engage further and if I find more value from you. Because everyone is value driven. Remember, you got to also think too, if they're logging onto my website, right? Or in this case, this ad, how many other ads, right, are they clicking on? So now it's not you versus them. It's now you versus them versus 5 other agents, right? So you also have to think about, what are your competition doing? What are they saying? And you know what most of them are saying? Hi, this is, Nick calling you. I saw that you wanted online request. How are you doing today? Or, something basic like that. No, I don't want that. Because remember, with everyone that is on social media nowadays, everyone is super like not able to concentrate. So if you're not saying something, of interest and value and being boring, they're automatically not going to answer you going forward, and that call is going to be short. So a way to do this is, if that's your competition, this is what I'm doing differently. Hey, it's Nick Moretti. Just wanted to let you know, I saw that you put your online and I have the report ready. Do you have a moment to chat? Right? What is going to be more better? Right? Or you even say, hey, I did your online assessment. There's actually some really good sales in here. Do you have a quick second to chat and let me fill you in on what's going on in your neighborhood? That's there, just that pivot is gonna get me engaged. All you want to do is get them engaged, because once they're engaged, they're gonna give you time. And as long as you're saying the right things, they will continue to listen to you and build that relationship. But you gotta know your market. And this is easier for someone that is like myself or anyone else on here that is a listing heavy agent. But if you guys are buyer agents now trying to, move into the listing agent world, this is a whole different game. It's not what you do with your buyers. It's a whole different game, and you got to move differently, So, and how you move differently is sellers just want to know what we can do for our house. What can you do differently? And how can I get that top dollar sale price that you will accept? And something would be like this too, when you're talking to someone over the phone, depending on where you are in that conversation, is, hey, let me ask you a question. If you got a crazy sold price for your house, would you consider moving? Right? What's crazy? Right? Well, what's crazy to you? Because I might already give you $1 million. For them, they might even think 900. So the whole point as a listing is you also want to engage with them and ask them questions to show their hand a little bit more. The good leads and the tougher leads are the ones that won't give you information and waiting for you to say everything. Hey, you know what? I really know. What are you thinking? What is crazy for this area? And they're testing you now, right? And you guys have to remember, guys and girls, you have to remember that when you're calling someone, this is an interview. They're interviewing you right now. So if you change that perception of you're getting interviewed, every person you're talking to, you would come more correct and you wouldn't come so loose. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying in general, anybody, right? So that is what's really important. That is what's really important. And that's what's helping us get closing a lot more of these deals and also getting more listings. Because remember, as a buyer's agent, right? As a buyer agent, you cultivate the lead, get them pre-approved, and then show them houses. Write an offer, get the deal done, right? So kind of 5 steps. With the listing, you cultivate, you book the appointment. So you book the CMA, you present to them, you showcase your values in that. Hopefully at that point they sign. Great. Now, the second part is getting your vendors in, spending money, and now betting on yourself that number and strategy that you told your seller is the right strategy for you to get the number that they're going to accept. Or else you just wasted all your money and time and you didn't get no paycheck. So then you put your money where your mouth is, and then now you're on the market, you're live. Now you're getting showings. Now you're following up with agents. Now you're trying to draft offers up from other agents. Now, when an offer comes in, you're negotiating it and seeing it through. So the listing step is like 3 or 4 times more work, but more rewarding in terms of when you're a buyer's agent and you get a deal done, no one knows that you're the buyer's agent. But when you're a seller and a selling agent, you have your on the lawn and it's sold, people now know who you are. So that's why it's important to list to last in this business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a call that we did in October. We listed in February and we sold for 1146 just recently. So I'm going to play the call, listen to this, and then we will go over some stuff. Can you guys
Hey,
hear that?
Shannon, how are you?
No, hold on. I don't think I shared my screen. Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. That's good. It's just Nick Moretti giving you a shout. How's your day going so far?
Going well.
You living the dream too?
Pardon me?
I said you living the dream too?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
So for me, I lead with you have to be authentic when you're talking to people. For me, I'm a chill, guy. I just like shoot the shit with people. So my job is to break this ice. You have 10 seconds to let the lead know if they're going to talk to you or not. They're going to already know if they're, everyone gets this. If someone calls you and it sounds weird, you're not going to give them time. So my job is just to ease the pain, let them know who I am, and try to make them laugh as fast as I can. That's how I work. Okay. You might be different, but this is how I work.
That's not bad. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking my call. Sorry for the delay. My last call just went longer than anticipated.
So on this lead, I was an hour late to the call. I still got her on the phone.
I just wanted to let you know, I'm obviously Nick Moretti. I'm not an AI machine. I'm a real person. So I just want to take the time.
I hear her laughing, so she likes me. So now it's like, okay, let's get through this.
I'm just to thank you for the opportunity to chat with you today. I do want to let you know that this is not a sales call by any means. This is more of just helping you find your online assessment.
So putting them to ease. This is not a sales call. This is just me helping you find what your online assessment is. Taking the edge right off.
And helping you find your online value. You know what I mean? So I've done some homework. I know you've given us some really good stuff as well too, but I'm going to go over this I found, and then, you can kind of help me correct any information that may have changed or would that sound okay?
Okay. Sounds great.
Perfect. Well, I see that you're at 1091 Windrush, so in Oshawa, in the Taunton region. Very nice area.
Yes.
I see that you guys purchased this back in 20.
As a seller agent, it's very important to be descriptive because when you're descriptive, it gives confidence that you know the area, right? Rather than just saying you're in Oshawa.
2022?
Yes.
Perfect. It was nice because at least it was listed, at 1.4 and you got some money off. So that's always nice. And because in that market, it was crazy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's not too many photos on here, but I know the area well. Like I'm local, so my office is Britson and Taunton over there. You're over on Grandview and Coldstream. So, I know the area very well. I have some listings there too. I'm looking at some of the limited photos. Have you guys done anything since you guys moved into the property?
No, except for like doing any little minor fixed things. Like
Sure.
It was quite a nice property when we bought it. It wasn't anything major that needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
So we have.
I agree. Yeah. When I look at some of the photos that's on there, like everything is nice. But sometimes you don't know. Some people change stuff, right? So that's why I just wanted to ask that. I see it's on a corner lot, double car garage. Above ground, it looks like it's over 3,000 square feet. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. And then you have 1+1 kitchen, so it's a non-legal, obviously. It's not, unless you guys got the legal certificate when you bought, right? Which I don't think so.
For the basement?
Yeah.
I believe it is legal. It's a complete basement apartment with its own entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't
there was
make it
somebody.
legal.
Okay, well, I don't know.
makes-
There was somebody living in there, but we didn't want them to stay when we bought the house.
Yeah. So what's illegal, just to let you know, is basically.
So education. So clearly her past agent didn't educate her on what is a legal certificate. So to educate everyone here, a legal certificate is when the city recognizes that it's another unit, like an extra dwelling unit. So if you don't have a certificate from the city saying it's an extra, they see it as another unit, then it is not a legal basement apartment, which is fine because 9 times out of 10, most of them are not legal apartments anyways.
Like basically like a fire marshal
So this is what's called bringing value. I'm educating her right now.
has to come into the property, go through the house, like in the basement apartment. You need to have thicker insulation. You also need to have steel doors. And like there's a few things, right? And the reason why I already know you don't, because on here it says that you don't, like when I look at the past listing. So because you have to get a certificate from the city.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make sure, because if you had a legal certificate, that also obviously raises your value, right? Because then the banks can see that it's a legal basement, and they can approve you for a little bit more. But that's fine. So when
Something I'm going to look into then, because I'm not sure, because I will the basement.
yeah,
So I will definitely look into it, but go ahead and tell me from a non-legal point of view.
yeah. The reason why I'm saying is because it says seller nor agent warrants retrofit status of basements. So when real estate terms, what that basically means is saying that it's not legal and they're not retrofitting saying that it is a legal basement. So that's why I know when I'm doing my research that it's not, unless you guys change something. But it sounds like you haven't. So that's fine. It's a beautiful property from what I'm seeing anyway. So obviously so just to give you an update on the marketplace, and obviously like, it sounds like you're super savvy, so you know your stuff as well. But it's, anyone who bought last year, 2022 and in 2021, depending on how high they bought in 2021, unfortunately they are losing money.
So do you see how education I'm leading with? This is what value looks like, because she's listening, she's engaged, and she is learning from me. So she already knows I'm the real deal. So these are, I'm only 4 minutes into this call and I'm getting right into it.
Just because the market has changed, right? We had super cheap interest rates, order to stay at home, government promised low interest rates for a long time. Now, a year later, they've raised it so high that things are super expensive and it's kind of changed the market a bit. However, what's happening now is with interest rates coming down, for the third time consecutively, there's more confidence in the marketplace. So we are seeing a lot more activity and some more multiple offers. So we're on the upswing, which is great. But some of the recent sales that I'm seeing, like there was one on Finkel Drive that just recently sold on September 6th. Pretty nice, 3,000 square feet as well. Similar finishings, it looks like. Maybe yours is definitely better in some areas. But that one was a 4+1, 4 washrooms. It was on the market for 30 days and it only sold for 1,212.
Oh, wow.
There's another one that sold in August 28th. This one here had some really nice upgrades. And this one was a 4+2 with 6 washrooms, bigger square footage it looks like. And that one sold for 1,551. But it looks like have a pool in the backyard. They made it like a cabana. They have landscaping. Like they pretty much made it almost look like a resort, And they're on a ravine lot. So that one was there. There's another one that was on Aldergrove, 4+1, 5 baths, over 3,000 square feet. Pretty nice upgrades as well. That was on 36 days on the market, sold in August 6th as well. And that one sold for 1.3. So the thing is like those are kind of everywhere, to be honest with you. Because there's another in July that sold that was pretty pimped out as well. So sorry, when I say pimped out, means super upgraded, like coffered ceilings, like very premium stuff, In July, there was one on Harlestone that was 4 beds, 5 baths for 1,462. So like the values are there, but it's kind of like everywhere. So I think if you're open to it, I mean, I'd love to take a quick look at your house whenever you're available the next coming weeks, just because then I can come by with the book. I'll show you the comps that I'm going with. I can take a tour of the house and then I can kind of showcase where market value is truly, because an online assessment is like limited factors. There's only limited information I have, right? But when I see it in person, I can actually assess it and let you know where the value is. Regardless if you take advantage of it or not, I mean, this helps you with your real estate equation. So it lets you know, okay, well, I know I can sell for this. What does that lead me to buy? And, whenever that happens, it happens, right? But I think if you're looking for information, I think that this could be a really good opportunity for that if you're open to it.
And roughly how much would that cost for the assessment?
Nothing. It's complimentary.
Oh, okay. Then I'm obviously up to it.
Yeah. So, I'd be more than happy to do that. I mean, your house from the photos, there's always limited photos here, less than 15 or 10. So I can't see too much. But I know the area. I've sold listings on McGee Street and, areas right by you. So I know that there's good numbers there. Just every house is almost unique to itself, to be honest with you. And all the numbers vary so much that I think it's better to show you the info. So are you available sometime next week or the week after? What's your schedule looking like?
I'm usually free on Mondays. I work from home on Mondays.
Oh, that's beautiful. So do you want, if you're open to it, would you like maybe Monday at noon or 12:30, the 23rd coming up, or would you want to do it the next week after that?
Yeah, let's aim for the 23rd.
Okay. Do you want to say just 12:30 just to be safe?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do, Shanette, is this is my cell phone. I mean, this is my office number. What I'm going to do is once we hang up, I'm going to text you on my direct line. So I'm obviously faster to reach there. So if I'll let you know that I'll be coming on the new 12:30. If anything changes, just let me know. But if not, I'll be there at that time.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, Jeanette, thank you so much for not hanging up on me. I really appreciate that. And, I think
You're
it's super
funny.
cool. Yeah, I'm Italian, right? I'm a character of my own, so you know what it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So basically that's where it is. But that's basically how my calls usually go, to be honest with you. I'm super chill. I try to come in as a civilian first, and then I already know what I need to say, right? So, and also doing a lot of business in the area, I already know where values are generally without even looking. So that means that if you guys know your areas very well, especially where you're spending your ads, you need to do some market research because people are going to know if you're full of shit or not. So is there any aha moments or anything that you guys may want to adopt from this call into your own calls? No?
I kind of do the same thing of analyzing the property before speaking to them. So at least I have some history when I get that in. Then getting them to do the in-person meetings is always a bit tricky. I got to work on that and get them calmed down to accept it. But I've had a lot go through this. It does work. If you do that, you do get their confidence and move forward.
What I usually do say too, sorry, Richard, is also too let's role play here. So, you pretend to be the lead and not want me in. So, hey, Richard, I don't know if you'd be open to it, but I would love to come by and kind of take a tour of your home and just kind of see, the finishings and updates. It sounds like you've done a lot of great things in your house. So, that will definitely help for the assessment. Are you available sometime next week or the week after?
I have my work schedule I need to work around. Can you do something in the evening?
Yeah, that's fine. But would you be what time in the evening works best for you?
After 5?
Sure. But at this point, just say no, I don't want you in.
Okay, no, that's inconvenient.
Okay, no problem. If you don't mind me asking, how come? I know that you're looking for an online assessment. Obviously, the online assessment may be a little conservative. So I think it's really important for you to get the true value and me being someone of service and giving you the right number. Does that make sense?
Well, I've been seeing numbers online, so I kind of get an idea.
I totally understand that. But, in this market, it's kind of weird. And what I'm saying weird is that you're probably seeing some really high price points and then you're probably seeing some really low price points in your area for similar houses. And it probably doesn't make sense. Because I know that if I was just a consumer, I know it definitely wouldn't make sense. And I'm sure you're seeing that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, I am. I'm actually.
So let me ask you a question. Just like I'm sure that you have investments. You sound like a super savvy guy. You're probably savvier than me, but it sounds like you have everyone has investments. So let me ask you a question. Do you check your investments daily, weekly, or monthly?
Occasionally.
Okay, cool. But if you logged onto your investments and you saw some really big growth, that would probably make you feel good, right?
Yeah, be more confident.
Exactly. And obviously with a home is one of your biggest assets, right? One of them at least, right? So let me ask you a question. If I was able to come to your house and I was able to, because you've done so many upgrades in the house, I would love to assess in the premium light. And let me ask you a question. If I was able to come to your house and I was able to quote you another 100 or 150K more, wouldn't that be something of value to you? To know that you're sitting on this money?
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's why we need to do this, because with the online assessment, it may be too conservative, and I don't want to be an agent that's giving you the wrong number when you're really sitting on gold.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah. No,
right?
That's a much better, a great way to, that's good to break the ice with them, to get them to open up. Yeah, no, you're good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So I just and the biggest thing is if they're saying no, totally understand. But let me ask you a question. If you were sitting on more money, wouldn't you want to know? Because I know I would, right? And let me ask you a question. If your house was worth $2 million, let's just say, some crazy money that you're not expecting, wouldn't that help accelerate maybe your life plans that you may have for the future? Because if there's some goals that you want to do and you know that you have the money now, would you consider moving forward with it?
I think about it.
I know I would.
Yeah. Maybe
your 10-year plan is a 3-year plan now. I know that I would want to know that information. And it's coming, and all these things is just coming from support. That's all it really is. You know what I mean? So, that's how I'm really good at piquing curiosity, getting them motivated, and getting the appointment. Because you know, people want to know whether they want to or not, they want to know. That's pretty much that.
It was good.
Any other objections? Richard's been like the hero here and talking, so it makes it sound like you, all the other 10 people, you guys must be closing deals and don't need to be here then, I guess.
Well, Nick, I'm pretty new, so I haven't gotten any leads yet. But I mean, I like your way you make a customer laugh. That's a great way to break the ice. So
100%. And if they're laughing at you, then yeah, if they're laughing at you, then that basically means, or not at you, with you, that means that they're interested, right? And that's why I always lead with, hey, listen, I'm not AI, I'm a real person. And then near at the end of the call, when it goes well or whatever, I say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate you not hanging up on me, right? Like, because they're going to remember the first and the last thing about you. And if the last thing they remember was you laughing, then, hey, you know what? They're probably not going to cancel the appointment with you.
Right.
Right. And I can just say that it's really important to have a script before you call. Just like, any sports game or anything at all. You don't just show up, regardless if you have talent or not. You don't just show up. You come with a plan. So if you don't have a script, then I think it's really important to work on a script. And the script, don't make it complicated, right? Like, the script is, quick breaking the ice. Letting them know that you've done the assessment and that you're fact finding. You're asking questions about the property, whether they've done upgrades, when they bought it, whatever. And then from there, you go and you talk about limited comps, big numbers and small numbers, to let them know that there is a different range, right? And then from there, you pique curiosity to get inside and do your CMA. That's how you have to do it. Right. So
I like how you put the ranges all over the place to let them know that, it wouldn't be an accurate assessment if I don't see the house.
Exactly. And
I like the if then there. Mm-hmm.
That's the combo. That's the haymaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's the haymaker. But what are you doing for all the newer agents? What are you guys doing before the call? What are the 3 things that you're doing?
You got your script, pulling up the accurate comps, and the third thing, not sure.
So this is what it is. You're on the right track. You're pulling up the past listing of that property.
Oh, past listing, yeah.
After you're pulling the past listing, you're pulling up the most comps, the recent comps. Yep. I usually go to a year because some people I talk to, oh yeah, this house sold for 1.5. I checked in the whole year, nothing sold 1.5. Are you thinking that it's 2021, 2022 again? Because these are not the same price points.
It's today's price. Today's price.
Right. And then what is available on the marketplace? Those are the 3 things that you need to pull up before the call. You have to. If you don't, I'm going to call your lead and I'm going to get the appointment and I'm going to get the listing. You have to come correct. And remember, every phone call is an interview, right? And then once you have those, before anything, you need to know on a script, right? But those are the 3 things you need to bring to that call. And another thing that I usually say is, listen, and whether it has the photos or it doesn't have the photos, this is what I'm saying. Since you bought about 3-4 years ago, MLS doesn't really have a lot of photos after the property sold. So I can really only see the exterior, maybe 1 photo of the inside. So it's really hard for me to go in blind and give you a price that you want to hear when I don't really know the value. And I'm not that type of person that's going to say a number and then, let's say you want to work together and I can't bring that number. I don't do that. Whatever I say is what I'm going to bring. As long as the market doesn't change in a crazy amount when we list the property, then we should be totally good. But, it's me. I'm not giving you value and I'm not servicing you at the highest level if I'm giving you bullshit numbers. And I hope you can appreciate that, because other agents are going to say, yeah, your house can go for this, but once you list, it's not going to be like that. So I hope you can appreciate that I'm being upfront and honest with you, because that's how I lead my relationships. There's 2 ways of when you're doing, when you're working with clients, either you're transactional or your relationship. I'm a relationship agent. So that means that if there's fires that's happening, you call me, I will put out those fires. That is what a real estate is. I'm a professional firefighter, because no matter what, we can plan as much as we can, but there's always 5% that comes up in the deal that happens when the deal closes. And you want to make sure that your representation got your back. And I'm that person. I'm that person you put in the game. but it's the confidence and it's the demeanor. You know what I mean? It's everything. And you only get to that once you start doing more repetition. It doesn't matter about deals, it's just repetition of the conversation. Anything that you do, like for example, when you first sign up and do Meskula, right? The hardest part is getting the appointment. No, the hardest part is getting people on the phone. Once you get people on the phone and you get to that next level, then it's about how do I get them in the appointment. Now, once you get the appointment ready, then all getting people on the phone and booking the appointments are easy. Now it's like, how do I get the listing signed? Right? So there's levels to this, right? Do you guys have any other questions or any objections or any other thought that you guys may have that I can help you out with?
Hi, Nick. You said you're convincing them to allow you to come in for that appointment. That if the house is worth 100,000 or whatever more, they would want to know that. But I'm just a little concerned that in the market that we're in today, where prices are not going up, that if it would come back to bite us afterwards. Do you normally get a pushback if the
No.
price isn't? No.
Because I'm saying, remember what I'm saying. What if I came in and I was able to quote you higher? What if, right? Obviously, if your house is shit, I can't sell it for $2 million, respectfully. You know what I mean? But if you have a nice house and you've taken care of it, I mean, that's maybe a different story. You know what I mean? Because everyone has different standards of living. Some people might say something is clean and I think it's friggin' dirty, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, remember, you're piquing curiosity and going there. And remember, you're not giving them a value online. So how do they know that you're not already giving them the 150K increase already, you know? It's not like I said, hey, your house is worth $1 million and now I'm saying it's 850. Because I never gave a number to begin with.
Okay, I understand.
Right? Remember, you're doing this to spark curiosity so you can get in the house. And if you can spark curiosity and they get you in the house, that means A, they like you, and B, they're starting to trust you. Now it's about the numbers and it has to make sense. And it's harder now because a lot of people are hurting, unfortunately, which no one wants to see, right? People bought in 2021, 2022, low interest, high price point. Now they're taking a loss when they're selling. And now you have to negotiate your commission on top of that.
Right.
So, and the defense is like when you're in an appointment and they're saying, well, Nick, I'm losing money, I can't afford, your commission. I go, hey, you know what? I totally understand. But let me ask you a question. When you're losing the game, are you telling me that you're going to go defense, or is now the time to go on offense? The time is to go on offense. So if you are going to get someone who, you're shopping with the lowest commission rate, that's not providing value, that's not really going to help showcase your property more, or have the right strategies to get more buyers in the door. More buyers means more showings means potentially more offers means more money, right? So if you're in a scenario where you're losing money, wouldn't you think you should be hiring the best representation to get you out of the hole as much as possible? So for example, you're going to court. Are you going to get the cheapest lawyer, or are you going to get the more expensive lawyer to get you out of this hole? You're going to go for the more expensive. Why is real estate different? Right? And if they're negotiating on, stuff like that, you haven't provided your value as much. There's something that you haven't done for them to register the value. So that's a great question though. But also don't get so caught up on what you say and whatever, Obviously, if you're saying a number, you got to be kind of spot on. But in these scenarios, I'm not giving numbers out, so they don't know. Anyone else have other questions at all?
We have an appointment tomorrow,
Yay.
and we've already discussed with the seller. He's had his house on the market on and off over the years, and his first thing was, oh, well, I don't have to sell. And but he's anxious for us to come over to give us
Yeah.
the price.
Every seller, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there, Diane, but every seller is going to say they're not in a rush to sell. Every seller is going to say that, as you know.
Well, his house, just from the outside, is not finished painting on the outside. Chimney needs repair. I mean, so he has already told us that he's not going to sell this house for this amount of money, and putting up a good fight before we even get there. So so we have to really, give him the confidence to, basically listen to what we have to say, and that his house is just not the most perfect house on the block. And it's really up to the buyer as to what that house is worth. And we'll never know until he gets it on the market at the right price.
Right. So I think bang on is you need to say, listen, as your representation, I would love to get you $2 million for this house, but you have to understand that the market's going to pay what the market's going to pay. Let me ask you a question. This is a very basic question. If a bag of milk is $3 down the street and we're putting it for $10, you as a consumer, are you going to go to the $3 one or are you going to pay $10 for the same bag of milk? You're going to probably pay the $3 one, right? And that goes to the same for houses. So houses have a value. You and I don't dictate what we want for the property. The market does. And who dictates what the market does? The buyer and the seller, obviously, right? But that's where we have to do a dance and find the meeting of the minds to do that. You said that you've listed the property. You respectfully, you didn't get the results you wanted. Here's some things that, I think that the property needs if you want to get this number. But if you choose not to do this, then this is what the number is. Right? You might not feel like it's a great number, but this is a great number for this type of product. And I think the question is how important are you to get sold for the right number that the market's willing to pay? Because if you think that your house is worth, $300,000 more, clearly it's not respectfully. Here are the comparables that are in better condition of your house that sold for less. So how can we want more than something that is more premium than our house that's selling less, right?
Right.
That's kind of where you have to really, for sale by owners are pain in the ass because they think their house is worth $2 million when it's really worth probably $600K. But you have to let them know. And you know what? You got to be upfront and honest. Do not say a price just to get the listing because you'll waste your money. You have to show them the value and you have to show them that you're really going to fight for them. And, obviously you're getting in the door there, so they trust you. Remember, I'm your representation. I'm gonna get you the best deal, but you also have to be realistic with your expectation. And maybe now is not the right time to list, but I can tell you that, we don't have a crystal ball. There's so many crazy things happening in the world. How would you feel if you choose to wait and your house is worth 100K less? You probably would think that this price I'm giving you right now is probably a really good price, wouldn't you? So
Correct.
What I really do is I really challenge the mindset and the thinking in any listing or buyers. Because the problem is sellers want to sell for $2 million and buyers want to buy for $1. And somewhere in the middle, we have to get the deal done.
Well, I think there's another component is where are you point A to point B?
Yes.
And if he doesn't have a clear idea where he's going, he'll never sell because he's comfortable.
Yes. See, the problem with for sale by owners and for these kind of things is about the number that they want for the house. But yes, you have to figure out the whole journey because once you can piece the whole journey together, then it's a little bit easier,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I would approach it. And you just have to make sure that, he recognizes I would be bringing comps that are pimped out, that are better than his house. And then I would be bringing comps that are just kind of similar and some that are just a little bit lower in terms of condition, because he has to see this is what this market's paying. This is what the market's doing. And I always like to use that bag of milk because listen, I understand you as a seller want to get top dollar and that's what we're going to do for you. But you want, as a buyer, you probably will also want the most competitive deal too, right? So as any buyers that are coming into your house. And now more than ever, we need to be spot on price and not overprice. It's having hard conversations, but you got to do it. And and I always follow up saying, listen, I'm a real estate agent that's not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. There's two differences. There's a lot of agents that you probably know that will say, yeah, this is the price, this is that, but they're not fulfilling their promises. I've have, all these great, past listings that sold recently. I know where it is, but you got to trust me in order to get the job done. And then it's just becoming personal. People don't, people buy from people. So they know that if you're coming in, he likes you enough that he trusts you. Now it's just dealing with the bullshit.
Well, the other thing is his property is on a main road, so it's a great advertising spot to put your sign.
Which it is, but if you don't sell the house, I don't think it does.
No, then it looks like, and then every time you have to reduce the price, it looks like a fire sale. So why not price it to begin with?
Yes. What area are you in selling?
Oh, South Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
So we sell little cabins in the woods. And then you can also buy something right on the lake for 5 million. So it's the whole gamut, but kind of like the 7-Eleven of real estate. People buy here and they love Tahoe, and then all of a sudden they fall out of love with Tahoe and they're out of here. But a lot of the properties are second homes also, so that they're going to save their primary residence in a time of economic failure. So they will
For sure.
so we had back in the day in 2010, 2011, lots of foreclosures and REOs on the market, which changed rapidly over the years. So,
of course. But yeah. So good luck on your listing. You'll get it done. Just be honest, be upfront, and don't pivot too much if it doesn't make sense.
Right. Okay.
Right. And then also say, listen, we have to make sure that this is a fit for each other. It has to be a win-win. Currently, right now, I don't know if I would be the best person to service you because your expectations are too high.
Right.
Because when someone gets rejected, they're like, wait, hold on, you're going to reject me?
Yeah.
You just have to see what it is, right? And don't be scared to walk away from a listing. It's better to walk away from a listing rather than not fulfilling and spending all this money. Like for us, we spend a lot of money because we're high into social media. So we have a lot of videos. We do, my vendors are super expensive because they're top notch. So like listings, by the time we list, videos, advertisements, we're $4,000 to $8,000 deep into a listing. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And this is not the market to be sitting on listings. I don't know what Tahoe is, but even in this area, you don't want to just sit on listings. But yeah. Good luck, Diane. You're going to get it done though.
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
No problem. Any other objections, any questions, anything at all, guys? Doesn't have to be Meskula if you guys have questions. Any questions about anything about the process? I'm in Canada, so I might not know everything in US, but, quiet group. So you guys are good then?
Well, I might as well ask some questions.
Yeah, please.
So I'm in Florida, South Florida. I've got a nice 3,700 square foot, 6-bedroom, 5-bath house listed for $815,000. It's $100,000 less than an identical house in the same neighborhood that's listed. Nothing's wrong with it. They want to sell it. Person wants to retire, want to be done. I marketed the heck out of it for a week and a half, social media wise, videos, everything, for come and look at it. I did a Friday afternoon and a midday Saturday open house for it. I had 0 people reach out, even though I can see that I had about 350 people actually go to the landing page, look at everything, but nobody filled out any form. Nobody called. Nobody showed up. Nothing. So I'm like, all right, now what?
Patience.
Yeah, that's about the only thing I came up with.
I know listings, as long as everything, the photos look good, ads are out, whichever, it's sometimes a patient game, right? With listings, you can have no traction for a week or two. And then the third week, you will have traction. See, at that price range, I'm sure that it's not a first time buyer, maybe some, but for the most part, it's probably people who have sold their primary residence and then upsizing or vice versa, right? So sometimes when you're at a high price point like that, sometimes you have to wait for that buyer who's going to buy that house is probably selling their house or just getting their house sold right now or just about to go on the market. So it's just the good thing about listings is they do sell. And if you're 100K less than whatever the other one is, then that's fine. Have you been getting any showings at all?
I've had 4 showings. I've been on the market now 20 days.
What are the feedback? What's the feedback?
Feedback that I got from the first person, they didn't like the carpet on the second floor. You're $100,000 under anything else. I think you can afford to replace that carpet.
But did you say, so remember, because, like I said, buyers want to buy for $1, sellers want to sell for $2 million. So did you say, hey, no problem. If we were able to adjust the price, would your clients consider for the carpets?
Yes. And I did go back to the to the buyer's agent with that as well. Look, put an offer in. We can adjust it. Put an offer in. Give us we'll consider. I don't think they were truly interested. The second valid, what I would say was a good feedback. They came and looked at it and said, we love the house. but I think it's too much house for us. And they couldn't afford it. They just said, I think it's a little too big for us. The third one, I have not gotten the feedback yet for that. Everything, as they went through it, they were liking everything they saw. We had a great conversation, and I just got to follow up and see. And I did drop the price today. And I changed the comments or the remarks. Yeah, I changed the remarks to say, look, motivated seller, bring all offers. Let's, so we'll see what happens. I dropped it. I'm sorry, say it again.
How much did your price drop?
$5,000.
Nah, that's not enough. 5K is not enough of a price change. That doesn't do anything. If you're getting 4 showings, what I can tell you, if you got 4 showings in 20 something days, the market's saying that you're overpriced. Whether you're 100K lower than the last sale, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, and
it goes back to the milk objection, right? If other people can get something lower for a better price, they're going to go there all day. So you have to sit, right?
Well,
Most sellers don't want to drop their pants, right? I get it, right? So, at the end of the day, what we do in these scenarios is we always have a Monday report that goes out showing how many views the listing is getting, what traction we're getting online, and other showings or other feedbacks or everything. Because I need to show that my seller that we're working still. We're not just sitting with doing nothing, right? So that helps because if you're doing that you're already doing that for 4 weeks right now, 3-4 weeks. Now you're going to do it. Hopefully you sell it tomorrow, obviously. But now if it's on the market again for another 3 weeks, right, with no action, then it's like, we are getting people online, but clearly it's the price. So I understand that you have a certain price in mind, but this is what the market's telling us. And you're hiring me to tell you honestly what the market's telling us.
Right. Well, here's the other thing just to know as far as when I look at 3-mile radius around me. So it's a nice gated neighborhood. So I've been looking in the neighborhood, but take this same house and say, okay, give me 3 miles around me and look at what is there like it. 2 things. One, we're underpriced for any comparable. And secondly, only 1 house went under contract since we've been on the market.
So it just sounds like it's a slower market, possibly.
I think that's where I think we are, that it's just slower and that's what I did for my report, to the owner. It was like, this is how many views it got on with us. This is what our marketing got. This is what MLS got. This is what people jumped on Zillow and saw. It's getting a lot of views, multiple saves. People saved it on MLS. They saved it on Zillow, and here's, when we look at this comparison, there was only 1 house that has gone under contract since we put this on the market in a 3-mile radius.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think what you're right. I think it is the patience part, which I find very hard.
It's hard.
I find that hard.
Because you stress, right? And also it's like, it's a paycheck. It's like, holy fuck.
Right. Right, exactly.
Right. But the good thing about listings, as long as it's reasonable, which obviously yours sounds reasonable, Dimitri, they do sell. It's just time. Like that one on Windrush that I just showed you that sold for 1146 on the market for 60 days. And I was like, how the hell is this not sold yet?
Right.
Listings just mean more time. It's hard.
Okay.
But you're doing great.
All right, very good. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions with anyone else?
I got a question.
What's up, Chase?
Yeah, my name is actually Logan. Chase is one of my manager. But yeah, love the bag. I'm from Canada too, so love the bag milk references. But yeah, essentially, I have a listing that I just brought to market yesterday. I already have like 3 showings on this right now, and basically, like my seller is. Like she's in the unit right now, so it's owner occupied, but she wants me to be at like every single listing appointment. And it's just like, how do you navigate a situation?
Hold on. How much is this? How much is this price?
$850.
No. If it was like a 2.5, yeah, but no. So I would just say like, hey, listen, I totally understand and respect that. But, at the end of the day, that's why they have buyer's agents. The buyer agent, has to accompany the buyer. They cannot retrieve the lockbox without the agent there. So you have to understand that we have all the buyer's contacts. So God forbid if something happens, which it's not, we know who the agent is and we know how to contact them. But at the end of the day, I'm not their agent. So if I go there and stand and wait, it's not going to give that buyer that great experience, right? And my job is to make sure that these buyers are having great experience. Me being there, did
No,
you do that to her?
No, yeah, that answers the question. It's kind of just like a tough conversation you have to have, but yeah.
100%.
Let her know you're going to do a pre-call for every showing.
Yeah, so this is what I say, okay? So I go, hey, listen, no problem. I understand your concern, but remember, we do call every the showings that come in. We are calling them. We are giving them a little bit more information about the house. We are giving, the highlights of the home, and telling them to ask any questions when we're there. Remember, I'm your listing agent. They're their buyer's agent, so they have to go through the house. They're a licensed agent. They'll know everything about the house. They'll go through it. They will be accompanied by their agent. They're not going to go by themselves. That's, so don't worry about that stuff. And remember, if I was there and they don't know me, I'm now kind of making that tour and experience not the greatest, because they don't know who I am and they're going to feel rushed. And that's not what we want to do. My job is to make sure that property feels like home for them so that they can fall in love and we can get an offer and we can get you a top dollar. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it.
But what I would challenge you guys to do next time is on your listing appointments, explain this. Because if you explain, like when I go to my listings, I explain everything from A to Z, and this doesn't happen. The only time that you should be going there is when you have a super luxury listing, anything over $2.5 million.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Hard conversations suck, but you know what? Hard conversations are where you're going to get the money, and they're going to respect that because so many agents don't do that. But you can't bend over when they want them to do that. The hard part is if they say, hey, well, I want you to do it. Well, hey, like, I don't recommend that we do it, and I will not do it until we have a problem, right? Well, then I don't want to work with you. Well, I mean, it's too late. I wouldn't say it like that, but I'm like, for what? I'm the agent. You have to have trust in me. Let's just see how these showings play out. Just trust me. You hired me because you trust me. I'm never going to lead you in the wrong light. I'm here to make sure that we get top dollar for your home. And this is the method that we have to do to get you there.
Yeah.
You just got to be prepared for every little scenario, right?
No, for sure.
Cool. Great job, guys. Get it sold. Any questions with anyone else before we get off? All right. Well, happy Wednesday. Let's get it. People are on the phone and they want to hear from you. They need your help. You will find someone to help today. Just make sure you're making your calls. Not 1, 2. You need to do 20, 30, 40, 50 calls. Go get it. You want to make this money. You want to change your life. You want to go on that trip. You want that car. You want that watch. Make your calls. Get this money. All right. Follow me on Moretti Real Estate if you need anything, but let's make this money.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick.
Bye.